As far as the internet goes, hidden messages and stories have always found a way to include themselves into videos and images from all around the world. Today is no exception. What you just saw at the start is the first upload from a channel called eckvanet. The channel has released 18 videos so far, with the latest upload being only 3 weeks ago, and I will be completely honest with you, it was 3 years ago when I discovered the first few uploads from the ECKVA channel, and I was always planning on making a video about it. But it just seemed like there was a lot more going on, and I always told myself I'll keep waiting and waiting for more story to develop. Today is the time I stop waiting. But before I get into that, I want to make a short announcement. I'm planning on making a Halloween special video where I do a live investigation of creepy internet oddities, and I'm asking for your help. If you know any mysteries from around the internet, please leave a comment below or message me on my Twitter account. Hell, they don't even have to be necessarily creepy. With that being said, let's jump into this and try to piece together who or what is eckvanet. As always, we're gonna go through every upload of the channel where I'll point out the useful information as we slowly unravel this mystery. The first video uploaded on the channel is called ECKVA 1. We're shown what appears to be a television advertisement, informing us that new things are coming to our television set, to stay inside and to see what's important. I want to point out that at the end of the video, there's a section titled Notes. I want you to keep this information in mind as we progress through the story. ECKVA 2 gives us a different upload. We're being told that ECKVA is now hiring, but before we can see where the career fair takes place, the video cuts off to a different section. For a split second, we get a hidden message. Remember how the first video said see what's important? This one tells you to do what's important in this hidden frame. Making our way to the website, we're given an application form for the ECKVA network, and by the end of the video, we can see a message in the notes section that says, "When was this?" ECKVA 3 shows us a note that says Alice Pastry, Test 452, Copyright ECKVA Network, Department Children's Program. We then proceed towards an unsettling animation, followed by the message, "Why not start your new life today?" By the end of the video, the notes section reads as following. ECKVA Network was supposedly developing a children's show at some point, but its name was never revealed. Could it have been Alice Pastry? This version seems way too crude. Why not start your new life today also sounds very familiar to me, but I can't figure out why. Okay, so right off the bat we can notice something's off about these uploads. The uploader, who's supposedly the one leaving the notes at the end, has no connection to the source of the videos he's uploading. On Twitter, we can see his name is Hawkins, as he makes a series of posts explaining a bit about his background. I never saw that employment ad. It looks very old. A lot of people are asking me this, but the only relation I have to ECKVA Network is that I had a job interview with them several years ago. I was applying for a lot of jobs back then, so I don't remember anything specific about my application. I wish I did. I haven't submitted an application form either. Seems like a bad idea to give info to a stranger like that. Come to think of it, my information was probably stored in a file somewhere before ECKVA shut down. It's possibly still out there somewhere. Got something weird in the mail today. No return address on the envelope. This card is all that was in it. 580412 is stamped on the back. Upon further investigation, we come to realize how the puzzle actually works. If you count every number 1 from each column in the image, we get the number 95727. For this to work, we need to go to the ECKVA website and type in eckva.net/database/95727. The message that follows is this. Hello, ECKVA admin. This is an automated message generated when a new password for your Access account is generated. If you do not initiate this change, please contact IT support immediately. Meanwhile, someone else reaches out to Hawkins on Twitter, informing him that someone got into one of the ECKVA websites and provides us with a link. A link leads us to this image. If we take the number 452 and put it in the ECKVA website like we did before, we'll come across this. Before we move on to the next upload, Hawkins mentioned in his tweets that he's received an email regarding an application for the ECKVA network. He also states that he already has a job and has never submitted such application. The next video, titled ECKVA 4, presents us with an ad for a medicine called Prexin. By the end of it, a similar message pops up. ECKVA 5 shows us a window as two disturbingly looking faces appear behind it. We are suddenly interrupted by a special announcement.
Normal ECKVA service has been interrupted to bring you an important service announcement. There will be a knock at the door. Do not open it. Stay inside today and watch TV. This is very important. This is very important. Keep looking at me. Keep looking at me. Keep.
Afterwards, we get another series of notes, which read as following. The internet connection at the house was interrupted before the broadcast completed. This caused the auto upload to me to be cut short. I have to drive out there to see what happened. Back on Twitter, Hawkins updated us some more. Planning on going to the house tomorrow. Every time I come here, it seems something new is broken. Finished checking and everything else seems to be as I left it. Getting video on my phone while I'm here, in case I find anything unexpected. This is followed by another upload, ECKVA 6, in which Hawkins goes to the house he mentioned previously, as more information comes to light. I inherited this house several years ago and don't have the money to fix it. While cleaning out one day, I found that this area was able to pick up the ECKVA broadcast signals that I thought no longer existed. I put together a crude setup to have the station monitored at all times, and for any broadcast to be automatically recorded and sent to me. The next upload shows mentions of A-list pastry again, and right underneath it we can make out a small text saying episode 99.002, Alice Goes to TV, followed by the same eerie animation we've seen previously. Right after that we get another text. This time it's Alice Goes to Doctor, followed by this. Before we move on to the next video, let's make a few things clear. We can now confirm that Alice Pastry is in fact a TV series made by the ECKVA network. It is also revealed that they're targeting our main character Hawkins, who goes back on Twitter to say this. I've been getting a phone call at work from an unknown number since last week, always at 4:52 PM, right before I leave. Never hear anything on the other end when I answer it, but it never disconnects. Kept listening for over 5 minutes once before hanging up. For now, there seems to be some connection between Hawkins and the number 452. ECKVA 8 shows us a live camera feed of cars driving around before cutting to the current condition of 74 grades Fahrenheit and the current time of 4:52. We're also told that drug testing trials are happening in our area, along with a phone number that seems to have been left out. The notes inform us that the upload cut off before the broadcast could end and that Hawkins needs to go back to the house and fix it. In the next upload, Hawkins is back at the house when he noticed an envelope behind his plug socket. Upon further inspection, a note can be found, followed by a knock on the door. Someone broke into the house and left me this note and pill. If I remember right, the pill looks exactly like Preexin when I was taking it. Once I was home, I checked eckvanet and found that database/452 was password protected. After some trial and error, I figured out the password is listen now 452. A broadcast was picked up right after I logged in. Whoever broke into the house has a definite connection to ECKVA. They may even be the one responsible for the broadcasts. The pill I found in the envelope has got to be Preexin. After this, we're shown Hawkins again as he tosses out the pill. After this, we are introduced to another character in Alice Space Tree, Quietbug. I'm gonna play this one out entirely as it holds out a lot of information for when we'll analyze the story in more detail. After this, we see Hawkins go back to the house once more. ECKVA 13 begins with what we now know to be the Arc Listener. We're then shown the layout of a house, and we can see footage from the scene we witnessed earlier. The next upload shows another animation with the character we now know as Quietbug. Okay, remember last time we had the current time in the video? It was 4:52, which led to the ARC listener page on the ECKVA website. This time, if we type in eckva.net/database/1154, we come across a blank page. But upon further investigation, a word is revealed: blot. Keep this word in mind, as it too will be very crucial to the reveal of the story later. The final scene shows Hawkins crawling his way out of the house as the video ends. The next video starts with the word we just came across, blot, and a message on our screen telling us to stay inside and watch our favorite program. We then cut to a footage of Hawkins walking around in the woods. This time, however, we can see both of his hands, meaning he is not holding his camera as usual. He then collapses as a conversation between Hawkins and a former colleague is revealed. On Twitter, Hawkins makes a post stating, "Something crawling through my brain." Back on YouTube, eckva16 shows us a similar blurry figure as to what we've seen before. Then Hawkins back at the house. He fiddles around with the radio transmitter for a while, before pulling up his sleeve to reveal a circle of static present on his arm. eckva17 shows us another animation of Quietbug, which I'll let you see for yourself. We then see another system update by the ARC listener, followed again by a layout of a home. It is then revealed what the layout actually means. And then, we are led to the final upload of this channel so far, ECKVA18. Okay, I totally understand if some of you feel extremely confused by now. Don't worry, I am too. But we'll get to cracking this in just a minute. Before we begin, however, I want to make it clear that from this point on, everything I say is purely a theory based on what little facts we have. In fact, we don't have a lot of clear information to make out what's going on right now, but we do know some things. So to begin, I'd like to go back to the ECKVA website. At the bottom of the page, there is a link that leads to the original database of the website. In here, we have all the links that we've come across so far in the video, with a couple of newer ones. For instance, 3123A leads us to this statement. Clear Lake's lawsuit dismissed. The lawsuit between Jeremy Wallen and his previous employer, Clear Lakes Communications, has been summarily dismissed by blank after evidence of Wallen's poor mental health was corroborated by multiple witnesses. Wallen had previously accused Clear Lakes Communications of maintaining a hostile work environment, which led to multiple instances of mental and physical trauma, though no specifics of the claim were made public. Clear Lakes Communications was purchased and absorbed last year by ECKVA Network for an undisclosed sum. Another link from the database leads us to this conversation. Okay, so we know ECKVA takes place in the same universe as Marble Hornets and Clear Lakes, and that it used to be a television program that operated a couple of years back. They used to have a rivalry with Clear Lakes, but eventually the company absorbed them. This does make sense, since Clear Lakes is no longer happening, thus begins the ECKVA chapter. So, we can conclude that someone affiliated with ECKVA has revived the broadcast and is targeting the few remaining people that had any connection to it. It is speculated that the static figure is the one responsible for all this chaos. Now, our main character states he only had an interview with ECKVA, but that's debatable, because in ECKVA 15, we can see a conversation between someone named S. Hawkins, 1928, and A. Raymond, 4848. A. Raymond, or Andrew Raymond, is a former ECKVA employee who supposedly got infected and is now controlled by the ARC Listener. So, who is the ARC Listener? This is a direct reference to Marble Hornets and to the ARC, but in ECKVA, the ARC Listener is simply the system database in which all the information is stored. The Ark Listener is nothing more than a silent watchman. Now, on Twitter, our main character goes by the name as Hawkins 1926. On the database, however, his name is S. Hawkins 1928. This has been rumored to be evidence that these two are different people. One of them worked for ECKVA directly, while the other one had an interview but is being targeted too. So, what is the static interference? This relates back to all the references of the word blood we've seen so far. Blood is a brain implant that allows the Ark Listener to see through the individual's eyes as if they were cameras. However, it appears to have a severe side effect, as their body slowly begins to be taken over by static. We have several reasons to believe our main character was overtaken by blood. One of them is the conversation in ECKVA 16 with Raymond, who says something crawling around in my brain. On Twitter, Hawkins makes the same exact post. Another clue is that usually we see Hawkins walking around with a camera in his hand. After his encounter with the static figure, however, we can now clearly see both of his hands, indicating that he is no longer using his camera. For the next clue, we need to step back a little to the Alice Pastry show. Alice Pastry is supposedly a reboot of the show ECKVA used to create back in the day. This one, however, is based entirely on Hawkins' life and decisions. Alice is a representation of a blood victim, while Quietbug is a representation of Hawkins. We know this from the Quietbug Comes Home episode, in which the house was based off the one Hawkins inherited. With that in mind, I want you to take another look at this scene from ECKVA 17. If you weren't aware by now, this is Quietbug, aka Hawkins. This is another direct reference to the fact that Hawkins has now been infected with blood and is being monitored by the Ark Listener. The reasons behind ECKVA and the Ark Listener are still unknown. We can only conclude that they are targeting people connected to ECKVA in some way, and that Hawkins is the last of them. He has now been infected, and his future doesn't look too bright. So far, this is every piece of the puzzle I was able to reconstruct. I'm sure there are many more clues out there that are yet to be discovered, but we're already way off schedule. For now, all we can do is wait for more story development. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support my channel, subscribe now and follow me on Twitter to keep in touch with any updates. Thank you again for sticking till the end. I'll see you next time. Love you all. Oh, and don't forget to leave in a request for the Halloween video, please.